Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we're going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, so let's just dive in. And let's start off with this tweet here from Anders. So, we do see XRP, the regulated standard, the global environmental standards, carbon neutral, low energy consumption as virtual currency by FinCEN, as non-security in the US by the courts pending. Compare this with others. The craziest thing to me around Ripple with XRP is just there's just so much orchestrated FUD around what Ripple is doing around XRP. I mean, listen, you don't have to be paying attention all the time to see the amount of hatred towards XRP and Ripple. Something in this market, there's a narrative being pushed, and it has been pushed for so many years in the past as well, that Ripple is the centralized entity that is controlling XRP, and XRP will never move because Ripple continues to dump XRP on the holders. XRP is going nowhere. XRP is this, that. And we've been hearing this for so long. The biggest thing to me that just does not make sense around Ripple with XRP is you could clearly see this big massive revolution happening around crypto. Like, if you have been a part of crypto for so long, and if you have been focused on what Bitcoin has done in the past, and the market that it's really kind of paved a way for, you could see how large of an aspect crypto will play in the future of finance. And this is also why I said, in my opinion, give it a few years, and Ripple will be a $1 trillion company, and XRP being the standard for instant cross-border payments, moving and settling trillions of dollars annually. Anyone who has been following the breadcrumbs behind the SEC's motives are completely lost. And again, we have a tweet here saying, and XRP still will be under 30 cents. Everyone will laugh until they cry. That's the thing. Everyone misses out on some of the largest opportunities just because of their pushed agenda. Like, listen, I don't really care what XRP is trading at. 1 XRP will always equal 1 XRP to me. Everyone wants to say, okay, well, there will be a buyback. It will be worth this price, that price, or XRP will move this much money, so it has to be this price, that price. I don't really care, right? Prices, yeah, they're great. They're great for making money, and that's what we should be here to do. But also, at the end of the day, XRP to me, the value proposition behind XRP isn't the value that it will be worth in dollars. It's the value that it will be worth in its utilization phase. Utilization phase for XRP could easily be worth trillions on top of trillions of dollars. I believe that XRP will be a $1 trillion standard. It could very well be, worth I mean, listen, when we look at the cross-border payment sector alone, it's a $156 trillion market, expected to be worth $200 trillion plus. I believe XRP will be a bridge currency for the cross-border payment scene, moving and settling trillions of dollars, like I've said in this tweet. I also believe that Ripple will be a $1 trillion company. Why? Because they are already expanding rapidly. A few of the partnerships that I love to look at are like the SBI one, right? Because there's companies in this space and there's projects in this space that are continuously trying to do what Ripple has been really focused on for a while: cross-border payments. And although Ripple and XRP are not the only two major entities in this market that are focused on this space, and when I say entities, I mean, Ripple just being a company that utilizes XRP for their cross-border payment mechanism. This is a very lucrative area to focus on, because I believe that Ripple has been trying to build out this major solution for so long, and it has been, catching a lot of slack for a while, but they've also been expanding rapidly within their cross-border payment mechanism, and, allowing XRP to expand rapidly through on-demand liquidity corridors. And I believe that this is going to continue to move pretty quickly once we do see regulations kind of ushered in, and we actually see good and I really want to say supportive regulations as well, because again, regulations can go both ways. I've been talking about this, and I'm addressing this, especially with the FTX collapse. I do think that we are trying to avoid strict regulations, but the problem is that it looks like the government has a different story around that, and they want to try to skew the public to the fact that, like, okay, hey, crypto is pretty bad. We should strictly regulate it and keep retail out, and that's not the way that we want to see things go. But nonetheless, SBI has been the big one that I've been focused on for a while, because this is a huge area. I mean, like SBI is a massive company, and you know when we look at what Ripple has been trying to accomplish over in the Asia area, they've been making their name known for a while overseas, and outside of the US, they've been expanding rapidly. I mean, when we look at what Ripple has been doing with RippleNet, first off, now there's over, they're supporting over 120 currencies in 55 countries through a single API, and this is going to continue to expand. I do think that give it a couple years. I'm telling you, give it a couple years, and Ripple with XRP is going to be a giant name in the cross-border payment sector. Again, we talk about XRP almost on the daily, and the reason why is because you could see the value proposition behind on-demand liquidity. You could see the value proposition behind XRP itself. Here's the value provided by RippleNet. So obviously, yeah, you could look at the other ones like provide the best customer experience, state-of-the-art infrastructure, and then you do see like efficient development of new remittance destinations. But the big one here is, of course, liquidity. On-demand liquidity solution eliminates pre-funding of operating funds to recipients. And then even state-of-the-art infrastructure does talk about blockchain technology to promote smooth settlement and reduce costs. Like this is all through XRP. XRP's use case compared to anything else in this market is completely diverse in its own way. And yeah, again, do I think that XRP gets touted as being the best thing ever, and like XRP will move all the money and this that? Yes. But I do think that's also for good measure, because when you look at the coverage of Ripple with XRP, and you look at what XRP is in terms of the value proposition behind it, with DLT being a major focus point from the IMF, the World Economic Forum. Government entities are also now jumping on board with DLTs. You can see regulations being put on the spotlight. Like all of this is to prepare us for what's going to be happening. And I do think that DLT will play a pivotal role in the future of finance. And I think that as we look at the true statements around what Ripple has been trying to build for so long, really kind of morphing into reality today, it's very interesting, right? Because for the longest time, everyone has always been saying, okay, well, crypto will achieve mass adoption, crypto will be this, crypto will be that, and we're kind of seeing it now more than ever be true. Like we are seeing crypto become a major part of our economy. It really is disrupting nearly every aspect of life. But we aren't at the stage yet of mass adoption. We're not at the stage yet of crypto being the core process of our financial system. But I do believe that that will come in time. We do see over here that Ripple is continuously expanding. Ripple has been expanding throughout this entire time frame, even though they are in a lawsuit with the SEC. XRP also, by the way, continues to expand through on-demand liquidity corridors. You could also see backed by the best in terms of the investors behind Ripple. I mean, look at some of these investors. I mean, you have Standard Chartered, Accenture, SBI Group. You have, again, some of the largest names in finance. We've talked about Accenture so many times. Santander has been making their name known around, digital assets and crypto. I mean, these are some of the largest names around finance, and it's comical that people continue to say like, okay, well, the SEC is right, XRP is a security, Ripple is going to continue to fall. It's comical, right? Because when you go and look at some of the events that Ripple is holding, you look at some of the names that are tied to Ripple, you look at the names that are sitting right next to Ripple. These are some of the largest names in finance. And again, this Ripple Swell event, the reason why I've been looking at this Ripple Swell event is because I do believe that we will see a huge announcement from this. Again, that's me speculating a little bit, but I want you all to focus on the bigger picture here. The bigger picture here is that Ripple has been one of the most transparent companies in the space. Everyone has known what they have been doing with XRP. They've been very transparent since like 2017. But also, as we continue to see Ripple, sit right next to these massive financial giants in payments, we know that Ripple will continue to expand within the cross-border payment sector. They will continue to be a pivotal player around finance. And not only that, but XRP as a digital currency is going to also grow rapidly as Ripple does as well. Why? Because when you look at regulations, regulations are going to benefit Ripple in a great way because it is going to allow them to expand into corridors that they've been stifled away from because of what the SEC is doing. Those are some very large corridors as well. When we look at what Brazil was doing with Travelex, that's a huge area for them to focus on. It's a $700 billion market. So, and that's just like one major entity. So when we look at what they are going to do after this lawsuit, it is going to be very interesting. And I do think that this lawsuit is holding them back from achieving some major peak adoption. And also over here, transparency helps everyone. Transparency is our friend. Listen closely to what Brad Garlinghouse is saying here. Also, I do have like about 3 videos from this Twitter Spaces. It's very interesting. I want you guys to definitely pay attention to what is being said here, though.
Transparency helps everybody. Transparency is our friend, and that is true. It has been at the core of blockchain technologies, and I think there's just a lot of companies that have acted, kind of not consistent with that. And I think the more we can be transparent, the better.
I've got one more question quickly for you.
Sorry, one more. What advice would you give to the companies that have large token value on their balance sheet? How do you think they should manage selling those tokens without causing issues when they're trading against their consumers or manipulating prices? How do we stop that?
Transparency. Look, I mean, there's a kind of well retweeted clip of me on stage with Joe Lubin at the World Economic Forum a few years ago. And, frankly, Joe's going after me about some of the same questions you're asking me. And I said, wait a minute, Joe, how much ETH does Consensus own? He wouldn't answer. How much ETH that has Consensus sold? He wouldn't answer. So look, transparency is our friend. And I think I would challenge the whole industry just to be more transparent, whether you are Consensus and you own a lot of ETH, and I think to this day we don't know how much, or you're a project like Library that just has one. You are the token. I think transparency is our friend.
Brad, I wonder if you would be as transparent if you weren't regulated in the United States. I think it's all good and well to say, transparency is our friend. When you're living in a jurisdiction where, if you're not transparent, then that could count against you. But the truth is that, many of these token companies are established in jurisdictions that aren't very regulated, in the BVIs, in the Canary, I don't know, there's all these little islands. How much of that is because you're forced to, and how much of that is because you think it's the right thing to do?
Well, look, I mean, we're a private company. We're not forced to do. When I talk about the XRP markets report, and again, we started that. I think it was in 2016, maybe it was 2017. We're not required to do that. We're choosing to do that. We chose to do that a long time ago because we embrace
And that's another big thing, right? Like these are Bitcoin maxis talking complete trash about a lot of what Ripple has been doing with XRP. Ethereum is not. When we look at consensus with Ethereum, I mean, we know that there's a lot of problems within that area. There's a lot of Ethereum maxis that have been out there for so long that are saying XRP is this, XRP is that, and the same goes for Bitcoin. Bitcoin. Go look at the holding addresses for Bitcoin. I mean, a large percentage of the supply is held by, maybe a couple hundred, maybe 1,000 or so wallets. Hash power, extremely centralized. Bitcoin is probably one of the most centralized currencies in this space. I've always said this. Again, a lot of people argue on it with me, but we could debate all day on what's centralized, what's not. Also, again, I love to see what Brad is saying here. He's saying that Ripple is not a public company. They are a private company. They don't need to be as transparent as they are. They choose to be this transparent because they believe that transparency is their friend, and I completely agree. Listen, you could go and check out every single XRP market report from Ripple where they share every single aspect around XRP sales, what they are doing with on-demand liquidity. This is why I've always said, with what Ripple is doing with XRP, it is something very special. This is a huge area of opportunity, and I believe that it is multiples of trillions of dollars in terms of this market of an opportunity to really kind of focus on. And we do see over here as well, so this is the last clip that I really want to share. It's about 1 minute and 32 seconds. Now, again, this is from an individual, all right, Simon Dixon, I believe his name is. He is a well-known Bitcoin maxi. We know that he loves Bitcoin. So listen to these questions that are being asked here. And we do see up here from Digital Asset Investor, they attacked Brad Garlinghouse out of nowhere in that FTX Twitter Spaces. It's never been more clear who the bad guys are in the space. None of them have ever questioned the Ethereum holdings of any of these outfits, but they are programmed to challenge Ripple on theirs. Coordinate it. And here you guys have the coordinated attack on Brad Garlinghouse. This is very... it's gonna... Just listen closely, and then we'll talk more a little bit about it.
To do that, it's because we think it's the right way to run a business.
And what percentage of the revenue is XRP sales?
It's a significant percentage. I don't know that we've ever publicly broken that out. Again, the point I would make, just because the nature of the question is, we repurchased the vast majority of XRP. So this is not we're very long-term bullish on XRP. This is not hey, let's sell as much XRP as fast as we can. It's almost, the opposite. But
repurchasing, what's the purpose of that? Because isn't that would that cause some market manipulation issues?
No. Well, I mean, I guess I don't know. The conversation has gone from hey, how do we make the industry more healthy to could that be market manipulation? I mean,
no,
look, dude,
sorry, Brad.
I don't know what the fuck.
Picking on you, but this is
I'm literally calling in, being totally transparent about exactly what we're doing. Everything I just said, we've been public about it. It's in our XRP markets report. The point I was trying to make,
this is the day when we're asking the tough questions. So.
Yeah, apologies, Brad. We've asked just to give you first hats off for coming on stage, and just asking the tough questions. But I appreciate you answering them.
No, I don't even view it as tough questions. My point is, you can go.
These aren't tough questions, by the way. These questions are easily answered by just looking at the XRP market report. I mean, this is just coordinated FUD, if you really think about it, because there's so many individuals listening in on this space. At the time that this recording was taking place, I would assume that there's thousands of individuals in this, because this was a huge spaces. But nonetheless, we'll finish it up.
Go read that, right? I'm not. You don't need me to even I didn't read our XRP markets before getting up here, so I can't cite the exact data. But frankly, it was Sunday morning, and I just decided to dial it. I was paying attention to Twitter, and it's I'll listen in. So anyway, look. I think,
but yeah, it kind of just stops there. But one thing, this is probably the biggest thing to me that really it's something that I find extremely valuable around this space. It is transparency. Listen, the thing around this space that's very, very interesting is you have these huge entities in this space that are not transparent at all. Go over to Ripple's website. You can look at all of the things around what they are doing with XRP. Here you guys have it from October 27th. This was literally posted last month. It was the Q3 2022 markets report. They outlined everything that they were doing with XRP, every dollar figure amount. You could see everything that they were doing throughout Q3. And yes, there's a Q2 report, there's a Q1 report. We've been looking at all of these. We've broken them all down. Listen, they are the most transparent company in this space. And it's funny, right? Because this is one of the most transparent companies in the space. They're, in a lawsuit with the SEC. They have one of the worst reputations in this space, essentially because of what the SEC has been trying to say and claim and do. And everyone is continuously talking FUD about, XRP market manipulation. Ripple is, manipulating the market. They're dumping on their investors, blah, blah, blah. This is a token. XRP is a token that is kind of tied to Ripple through what they are doing with XRP. But remember, XRP's value is not reliant on what Ripple is doing. XRP's value is the value that XRP is trading at on a day-to-day basis. XRP's value is not fully directed to what Ripple is doing. But one thing that I've always looked at around XRP, and one thing that I've always looked around this entire market as well, is You know, when we look at XRP, it's one of the strongest tokens in the space, not only fundamentally, but also strength-wise. I mean, XRP during this entire time frame has been trading above 30 cents. And a lot of people are kind of confused with the idea, like, okay, well, XRP has to be, you know, a scam. It's a security because that's what the SEC is claiming, or you have these, you know, Bitcoin maxis that continue to say, well, hey, XRP is this, XRP is that, Ripple's manipulating the market. This, like, it's all coordinated FUD. It's all coordinated attacks on what Ripple is doing with XRP and XRP is. And it's just funny because it's still in the top 10 after so long and after so much FUD and after so many coordinated attacks. This is one of the strongest tokens in the space. This is why I do believe that, like, going forward, once regulations are in place, once Ripple does win this case, because I have no doubt about it that Ripple will win this case, in my opinion, Ripple will be a $1 trillion company. XRP will be a $1 trillion plus standard. It will be the standard around cross-border payments. It could be a $156 trillion standard. All we know is that these two, in terms of Ripple and XRP as a digital currency, I think that Ripple could not have found a better token to utilize for a lot of their processes. But also XRP, listen, there's so much more utility behind XRP than what Ripple is doing with it. That's why I do think that the value of XRP will be significantly higher long term. And yeah, this market is long term. You know, even going back to 2008, 2009, when Bitcoin first came out, the value on it took years and years and years to be, you know, fully realized in. This market is still in its infancy stages. You got to understand that even with the FTX situation, that is a perfect example about why we need to focus on some of the biggest areas of this space and really kind of do our own research, but also it shows how early we actually are. Like, this market is still so early in its infancy. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely like, subscribe to notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, after you all have a beautiful day, beautiful night. If you guys done this before, this has been Nick. Peace out, guys.